A former top US vaccine official turns whistleblower to tell Congress lives have been lost unnecessarily and the outbreak will only get worse without a plan.
If we fail to improve our response now, based on science, I fear the pandemic will get worse and be prolonged.
In England, accident and emergency visits fall by more than half since the pandemic started, to the lowest level since records began. Born to surrogate mothers in Ukraine, dozens of babies left stranded as their biological parents from around the world can't fly in to collect them.
These are the 35 babies born here in Ukraine, their parents all around the world.
And the Philippines prepares to ease lockdown restrictions as the new threat of a typhoon causes tens of thousands to leave their homes. With the latest developments on the coronavirus outbreak, both in the UK and, of course, globally, the number of people confirmed to have died from Covid-19 rises, and it stands at just over 300,000, with 1.5 million people recovered. Well, scientists at the World Health Organization say nearly 250 million people in Africa could catch coronavirus in a year. They predict between 150 and 190,000 Africans could die from the virus. In England, 1 in 400 people is infected with coronavirus. That's according to a survey of 11,000 people in households. This means around 148,000 people in England could currently be infected. And there's some good news for fans of English football. The government says it's opening the door for professional football to resume in June. That's, of course, if they've reached their goal of containing the virus.
US Senator Richard Burr is stepping down as chairman of the Chamber's Intelligence Committee. That's after the FBI seized his phone as part of an inquiry into the sale of shares back in February. That was just before the stock market crashed amid coronavirus worries. At the time, the senator was receiving classified briefings about the severity of the impending crisis. Another 3 million people in the US applied for unemployment benefits last week. That means more than 36 million Americans have lost their jobs in the last 2 months, nearly a quarter of the whole US workforce. The 3 Baltic states, Estonia, Latvia and Lithuania, are reopening their borders to one another after they were closed due to the pandemic. Travellers entering from outside the Baltic states must still go into quarantine for 2 weeks. Japan's Prime Minister has partially lifted the country's state of emergency. The measures were due to expire at the end of the month. They'll be lifted early in 39 of Japan's 47 prefectures, but they will remain in place in some of the bigger cities, including Tokyo and Osaka, where new cases are still emerging.